So I recently made a video with my predictions for what new models Rolex might release for 2022, but I got it badly wrong. So Watches and Wonders has just kicked off and all the major brands have just announced their new models for 2022. A few weeks ago I made a video with my predictions for what we might see from Rolex for the coming year. If you haven't seen that one, I'll leave a link in the description, so go back and check it out. Now that we've had the official announcement, it's pretty clear that my predictions were way off the mark in most cases. However, I'm really curious to know what you all think of the new release from Rolex. I know I'm biased, but I actually think that the models that I mocked up in my predictions video will probably be more popular than what they've actually released. So let's just take a quick look at the highlights from the new models. And of course the big news is the new GMT Master 2. Now I thought that 2022 might be the year that would see the new Coke dial with the black and red bezel, and I even made a mock-up of it in my predictions video. So what we've actually got is a brand new green and black bezel version, a 126720 VTNR for Vert Noir, with a green GMT hand. But what I'm sure that nobody could have predicted is that this one is actually a lefty, with the crown on the left-hand side of the case. Now I quite like lefties, and actually a few months ago I nearly picked up a Tudor Pelagos LHD, the left-hand drive, which has also got the crown on the left-hand side of the case. But what Rolex has done with this one is that they've actually put the date window on the left-hand side of the dial too. Now I just think this one looks weird and a little bit fugly, especially as that Cyclops really draws your eye to the fact that the date window's at the left-hand side of the dial. It's just not what we're used to seeing, and it almost looks like the whole watch case has been turned 180 degrees. Now you've got to applaud Rolex for doing something different, but I just don't understand how the designer could be pleased with his work. I mean, I almost wonder whether they've employed the guy who designed the first Porsche Cayenne. Now moving on, and the Air King has also been given an update, but I think this one must have been done on the designer's day off, because visually, on first impressions, little looks to have changed. Look a little closer and you can see that the case design has actually been changed, and it now uses the squarer case design of the Submariner or the Sea Dweller, and they've also added crown guards. On the dial, you can see that the triangle at 12 and the 3, 6 and 9 numerals are now edged in white gold and filled with chromalite. And before the 5, they've now added a 0, which Rolex says balances the dial design, and I'm inclined to agree with them. The bracelet is now fitted with Rolex's Oyster Lock safety clasp, and it's got an easy link adjustment system, which gives a useful extra 5mm of adjustment on the fly. And finally, the movement in this one has been updated to Rolex's newer 3230. Overall, and while these changes are pretty subtle and you've got to look hard for them, I think that Rolex has done a pretty good job with this update, and they've improved a model that's really grown in popularity over the last 2 to 3 years. Next up, we've got a new Yachtmaster, but instead of the titanium concept watch that was photographed on the wrist of Sir Bain Ainslie in 2020, we've now got a yellow gold one. Now yellow gold seems to have been growing in popularity over the last few years, but there's just a bit too much of it on this one for my liking. And if like me you're not really into yellow gold, there's a new white gold version with a falcon eye dial too. This one is definitely more to my taste, but if I had £23,000 and the superpower to skip Rolex AD waiting lists, there'd definitely be other models that I'd go to first. The Deep Sea has also been given a new movement, and there's a ton of new models in the Datejust, Lady Datejust and Day Date series, which I'm not really a fan of, so I'm not going to cover them here, but if you want to find out more about them, they're all on the Rolex website. So in summary, look, I guess it's good to see Rolex thinking a little outside the box with this new GMT Master 2 lefty, but overall these new releases have left me a little bit underwhelmed, to be honest. One model that I would have loved to have seen released is the OP in Ever Rose, which I made a little mock-up of in my predictions video, and I don't think I'm alone because there was so much love for that one in the comments. So I'm a little disappointed that that one hasn't made the cut, but I guess there's always next year. So guys, I'd love to know what you think of these new releases from Rolex, especially that lefty. Let me know in the comments whether you think it works with having the crown and the date window on the left-hand side, or if, like me, you think it just looks wrong. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, because that really helps the channel to grow. I'm also going to be doing a video shortly on Tudor's new releases, so don't forget to subscribe and look out for that one. Guys, as ever, thank you for watching. Bye for now.